DIY, I'm using some wood scrap that I cut off of a piece of log with some outdoor pruning pliers. I used a stencil for the pattern, and I just drawn 2 lines that I'll later burn with the wood burner. I forgot that I can't find a clip for that, so I guess I'll just have to not put it in. Using the sanding bit, I'm just going to get as close as I possibly can with it. Sand it like I'm showing here. Now drill a small hole, add the adhesive glue, and put the metal wiring hook that I rounded off in the inside. Now paint it up with some yellow paint. Do at least 2 coats, 2 or 3 coats. Good. I'm gonna let it dry. Put on a nail. Put Mod Podge on it to keep it good sealed. And there you have it. I put protective finish on it, but I didn't film that because that's pretty much how I keep doing mine. Hello everybody, I just wanted to do a review on some of these Mario necklaces I made. That is pretty easy to do using some simple tools. I used pre-cut branches of wood, not blocks but branches of wood that I use all the time for my projects. I used three main tools. That's outdoor cutting shears. You can find them anywhere for like $2 for like a cheap pair. A sanding block, a utility knife. Where I took the cutting shears, I cut around the pattern. I made the pattern freehand. You can just look online and try to copy it the best you can online. And I cut around the outside as close as I possibly could. And then I used the utility knife to carve around the head portion where the eyes and faces. And then I used a sanding block to sand up all the edges to get a nice sanding look. They're a little bit rough for mine because the way when I cut them with my blade, but they look pretty decent. I can make a bunch of these within a day. They're not really hard to do. Of course, you can see the difference between my other one, my star one, which is done with the Dremel. It was done totally different. I just wanted to get a glimpse of how quickly I made all these within a day or two, letting them dry and to figure out where my placements are, where I wanted them to be. This is just another way I offered, instead of having to buy a Dremel, even though Dremel is inexpensive, but the tips, they could be expensive if you use them a lot. But yeah, there's three main tools: cutting shears, sanding block, and utility knife. And of course, you want to have a way means to cut your material block. I usually use a small portion of the block and circular saw, or like I use the miter saw. Before I start this quick review, here are a few previous videos that you may have missed if you're a subscriber. To make this NES controller necklaces, I used two tools. I used pruners and a sanding block to make this item. Of course, I cut a previous block of wood down to an inch, to a little over half an inch. I just take the outdoor shears and I just cut it in rectangles, and each one are uniquely different in the shapes. One's bigger than the other. Of course, they come out a little bit differently each time, unless you have a pre-made pattern that you would trace around before you cut it out. If you need to, you would later on use a utility knife to remove any defects. I usually just sand it up with the sanding block after 5 minutes, 3 minutes to create. And the painting time's pretty quick as well, as long as you have a fan source around. And you just look online for replicas of these. Just try to copy it the best of your ability. Took literally no time to do. With the last that holds it on, you could do them any different way. You don't have to copy it the exact same way I've done with mine. I decided to go through in the middle with them, but you could do them on top so that there's just a loop on top that you put the neck part through. It's pretty simple to do. I would highly recommend cutting a bunch of pieces ahead of time with miter saw, and of course you would need a type of saw material to cut your wood down to a piece. I usually dry my wood, normal tree branch wood, to make these recycling instead of having to buy wood.